Thank you so much to everybody for being here and for coming to share these moments together. One thing we ask at the outset, if possible, is to try as much as we can, even if it means shutting off our phones, to have total silence for the time that we're going to spend together. Very important. And just to take a second before we even do anything, to thank Hashem infinite times for giving us the privilege to be among those who understand why it's important to take time to invest in Yiddishkeit, to invest in Avodas Hashem. We have Chanukah coming up. Everybody's busy preparing one way or another. So much needs to be taken care of and planned, and in the noise, sometimes we could forget what it's really all about. What Chanukah is for. Not just what it commemorates, what it is. And so to take time a few days before to sit together with like-minded, growth-oriented Jews of every age and background, it makes no difference. These are all outside stuff. To really try to prepare ourselves, to open our hearts and our minds and build a vessel so that when Chanukah comes, we laid the groundwork, we're ready for it. We're ready to get what Chanukah has to give. That's our avoda tonight. And all of the learning and all of the davening, which the singing is just davening, and all of the emunah, the awareness that we're sharing right now in this moment, that there's really a Hashem in the world. There really is. And His Spirit saturates this room. And we're taking time now to focus on that. That all of this should be a schus for the continued healthy development of our precious neshama, Tinok ben Shir Yehudis. The Be'ez Hashem, he should continue to grow, which he's been developing so beautifully, and Hashem should just help that he should continue to go in this way and become a Zeh Katan Gadol Yiyeh, Be'ez Hashem. And also to have in mind all of our brothers and sisters, Yoshvei Eretz Yisrael, who need Rachem Shamayim, that Hashem should have mercy. Hashem should protect all of our chayalim and chayalot, and all Jews wherever they are. It should be a merit for all of Am Yisrael. Because it's a big deal what we're doing now. It's a big deal. I'm not sure that there are many Jewish communities anywhere around the world who have this kind of thing, where people get together for the sole purpose, just trying to go deeper. Get ready for Chanukah b'pnimius on a deep inside level. So the first thing I want to sing, Be'ez Hashem, and we'll sing it together and we'll share it together. And the Gemara tells us that Chanukah was instituted lahodos u'lahalal, for praise. This is in contradistinction with Purim. So the whole thing of Purim is eating and drinking. Physical. Why? So very simply, the Ran explains, and it's brought down in the Poskim, is that the whole Gezerah on Purim, what were they trying to do? To wipe out the physical being of Am Yisrael, the bodies. Lahashmid, laharig, la'abe, to decimate the Jewish nation. On Chanukah, that wasn't their aim. On Chanukah, it was all about the neshama. It was all about trying to snuff out that spark of Kedusha, which we're going to talk so much about. And therefore, Purim we celebrate with physical food and drink. And on Chanukah we celebrate lahodos u'lahalal, by singing to Hashem, by praising Hashem. So if you think about it, it's an incredible thing, because they could have chosen any spiritual pursuit to mark the celebration, the victory of the soul. Could have chosen anything. They could have said 8 days of learning, day and night, from the beginning of the day all the way till you go to sleep. They could have said, having extra kavanah and brachas for 8 days. There are any number of spiritual things they could have chosen. But it seems that to our sages, the pinnacle of spirituality, the pinnacle, is simply to recognize Hashem and to thank Him. That's how we celebrate a victory of the soul, is lahoidos ulahalal. So please join me in this melody together. And again, like we said before, it's not just singing for entertainment. It's a tefillah. From the deepest depths of our being. Please join me. Join me loud. Ulezamer, ulezamer, b'shimcha elyon. Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. It's pure neshama, just soul. Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. Ulezamer, ulezamer, b'shimcha elyon. Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. Yulehagel b'boker chasdecha. Yulehagel v'yemunascha b'aleila, v'yemunascha b'aleila. Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. Let's do it again. Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. Ulezamer, ulezamer, b'shimcha elyon. Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. Eilehagel b'boker. Eilehagel b'boker chasdecha. V'yemunascha Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. Oh, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Oh, da 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 da. Tayev lehagedas L'Hashem. So we mentioned before our chayalim. Right now it seems the stage of the operation is incredibly intense and precarious and dangerous. And they're here with us and we're here with them. We're there with them. And our sages say that tzaddikim teach that although the Gemara tells us that the Shechina doesn't ordinarily descend to lower than 10 tfachim, all the way down, whatever this means, Hashem's presence doesn't reach down to a certain level of this worldliness. The Chanukah lights that we're going to be privileged to kindle, really in just a few hours we can already start counting down, are supposed to specifically be lit lemata me'asar tefachim, in that place. Specifically in that place, where the whole year long, the Chanukah candles that represent the light of the Shekhinah, that light doesn't descend to that place. But on these 8 nights, the whole world is filled with the glory of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ta'ir eretz michvadecha. It's a little bit of a taste of the world to come. Because the whole thing of the world to come is all praise. Chazal say that Lasid Levo, when Mashiach comes, all of the karbanos will be nullified except one carbon. You know which carbon? The carbon Toda. That's all that will be left, is just to bask in the awesome realization that everything is already okay, everything was okay. Hashem's got this, He always did. Just thanks, infinite thanks. So Chanukah is a taste of this. Ta'ir eretz michvadecha. It's a taste of a time when everything is already lit up, illuminated. And so we daven now in this moment, and I beg you to join me. That we should daven that already. The same way we're preparing for Chanukah, that means Chanukah is already here in a certain sense. Those soldiers, wherever they go, not just lamata me'asara, but even down, deep into the ground, they should sense the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like David HaMelech sings, and we've echoed throughout the generations, and we're going to do so now. Gam ki Eilech begeit salmaves. Even when I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, lo ira ra, I have no fear. Ki ata imadi, because the Chanukah candles are lighting my way. So please join me. Gam ki elech salama veslo lo yilo irado. Gam ki elech salama veslo lo yilo irado. La 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 irana ki ata imadi. La 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 irana ki ata imadi. Again. Ki elech beged salama vesla la irada. Gam ki elech beged salama vesla lo yilo ira. Ay 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 la 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 Iranaki Ata Imadi La 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 Iranaki Ata Imadi Oigamaki Eilecha sameach la yearning gam sameach la yearning ay 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 la Iranamaki Atahimadi. One more time. Salama Vesla La Yila Irana Salama Vesla La Yila Irana Ya 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 La 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 Chanukah Yata Emade Aiga Eilecha Salama Vesla La La Irara Ya 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 La 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 Irana Ki Ata Imade Iraraki Ata Imadi. We're going to talk a little bit more about it a bit later. One of the key things about Chanukah is the concept of Chachma. Chachma means wisdom, intellect, means much deeper than that, and we're going to learn about it. But the pasuk in Mishlei talking about Chachma says, Nachal Novea Mikar Chachma, which means a flowing spring, Nachal Novea, that is the Mikar Chachma, the source of whatever that is, Chachma, wisdom. And the Svarim explain that what that nachal is, what that kind of experience is that goes beyond wisdom, that's the essence, the root, the makar, the source of wisdom, is holy yearning, ratzon. That word nachal, that is the makar of Chachma, the source, And what it really means to be a wise human being in this world, to learn how to really live, is Rashi Tevos for the words Nafshenu chiksa la Hashem. Pasuk in Tehillim, where David HaMelech says, Nafshenu, our souls, chiksa la Hashem, yearn for Hashem. Yearning, yearning, yearning. Nafshenu chiksa la Hashem is the nachal. That's the essence of the Jewish experience. To want, to recognize that there's more to grow, to strive to contact the divine, to sense that there's more to life than what meets the eye, to yearn to reach that, to feel that. Nafshenu chiksa la Hashem. It's also the Rashi Tevos of the words lahadlik, ner, Chanukah. It's also nachal. Nafshenu chiksa la Hashem. When we hear the bracha being made, when we make the bracha, we have this in mind. Remember, right now we're channeling the nachal novea mekar chachma, this light of nafshinu chiksa la Hashem, of yearning. You know, one of the most foundational machlokas arguments about Chanukah is between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, how exactly to light the Chanukah candle, something super fundamental. So today, all of us paskin like Beis Hillel. How do we light? Each night adding one. That's called the Mosif V'holech. Every night you add one. Beis Shammai says the opposite. He says, actually, the first night you should start with all 8 lit, and then every subsequent night you take one away. And they didn't just take opinions from nowhere. They said something. They meant why. They said what they meant. And the Gemara says, well, what's the reason for Beis Shammai? What's the reason for Beis Hillel? And the Gemara explains that Beis Shammai is going keneged parei hachag. It's connected to the karbanos that were brought on Sukkot that also went down one every day, less and less and less. Very deep what the connection is. But Beis Hillel holds that malin b'kodesh v'loy meridin. When something is holy, you want to move up in holiness. You never want to detract. You never want to take away holiness. And the question is, of course, I don't understand. Malin b'kodesh v'loy meridin, to add on in holiness all the time and not to go down, is a rule in Kol HaTorah Kula. Anytime we have the opportunity to move up in holiness, everybody agrees that that's what we hold. For example, you're putting on tefillin. Which one of the tefillin do you put on first? The shel yad. And then the shel rosh. Why? Because malin b'kodesh, you want to move up in holiness. So I get it. Okay, Beis Shammai has another reason that he would hold that we should go down one candle every night. But what about malin b'kodesh v'lo meridin? Doesn't Beis Shammai also hold of this universal rule in Torah? Of course he does. So I was thinking about this very deeply. And one Chanukah I was zoche to a wild idea, really radical thought. I wonder if there's some truth to it. You know, the Heilige Kotzker says, the Kotzker Rebbe teaches there's nothing as whole as a broken heart. What does that mean? Of course, a broken heart is not a whole heart, so what does this mean? So we have to contemplate this very deeply. What does that mean? There's an experience of fullness that's specifically experienced when we feel broken, when we feel empty, when we feel like we're missing, but we yearn for that which we feel that we lost. There's a certain fullness there. There's room for something even greater than whatever was filling it beforehand. A vast space. And so you're right. Beis Shammai holds that originally you start with all 8 candles lit, and every night you take 1 candle away. But maybe in some very deep sense, Beis Shammai is also adding every night. He's not adding a candle because he's taking 1 flame away. But you know what he is adding every night? An empty cup. Every night, Beis Shammai, by taking away 1 of the Chanukah candles, is adding 1 more empty glass to the menorah. And how deeply holy those empty glasses are. That's also Malim B'Kodesh. He's also going up in holiness. Because we're increasing the capacity for yearning. So in a certain sense, both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel all agree, Moisif v'Eilecha. They're both adding. Beis Hillel is adding flames, which are super holy, and Beis Shammai is adding not having flames, which might even be holier. Nafshenu chiksala Hashem. It's a la'asad lavoi dik a light. You know, the Arizal says, we know that la'asad lavoi, when Mashiach comes, who do we paskin like? Not Beis Hillel anymore. We paskin like Beis Shammai. Now we all paskin like Beis Hillel. Whatever Beis Hillel says, that's what we decide. After Mashiach comes, it's all Beis Shammai. Because that is an otherworldly light. To understand the way in which not having could sometimes be the greatest vessel for having. It's the deepest. It's the deepest. So join me in this melody together. If you know it, if you don't know it, you'll learn it quickly. And let's express this feeling to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As we go into Chanukah, we want to activate this holy yearning. You can close your eyes. The woman can hum along. You could also be a part of it a little bit, quietly. But mamish, everybody should try to activate this feeling. I want to be bigger. I don't just want Chanukah to be a cultural, religious, observance. I want it to change me. I want it to elevate me, to lift me, to activate something deep, deep, deep inside. So it goes like this. Nafsheinu chiksa l'Hashem. Nafsheinu chiksa l'Hashem. Nafsheinu chiksa l'Hashem. Nafsheinu chiksa l'Hashem. Oh yes, Eineinu, 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 Yismach libeinu ki b'shem Hashem batachnu Gigiva Yismach libeinu ki b'shem Hashem batachnu. Join me strong if you know it. Nafsheinu chiksa l'Hashem. Nafsheinu chiksa l'Hashem. Eineinu, 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 Yismach libeinu ki b'shem Hashem batachnu Gigiva Yismach libeinu Ki b'shem kadshay b'avavah. Let's do one more time. With it, Yismach libeinu Ki b'shem Yismach libeinu Ki b'shem kadshay b'avavah. The light of Chanukah is all about oneness. It's all about oneness. Which is strange because there are many, many days of Chanukah. But the whole thing of Chanukah is about oneness. Because the manyness of Chanukah, all the different nights, are only the outgrowth of that one tiny little jug, that tiny little jar of pure oil that they found under the rubble of the Beis HaMikdash. Under all the smashed vessels, under all the broken kalim, they found one tiny little jar that's still sealed with the seal of the Kohen Gadol. And from that one tiny little jar becomes many. One night, and then another night, and another night, and another night. But fundamentally at its core, it's just that one little jug that continues to last. And to fill the space of the many. This is another interpretation of what we're going to say in Tefillah 3 times a day. In Alanisim, we're going to say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you gave them what really means a military victory. And we say, V'rabim biyad ma'atim. What does it mean on a literal level? V'rabim biyad ma'atim. It's referring to the size of the armies, right? But the many, the gigantic, enormous Greek army was given over into the hands of the few. The Chashmonaim. The Maccabim. But maybe in a very, very deep way, what Chanukah is all about is to be able to look around at the manyness of life, at the multiplicity of different experiences and different places and times and stages and phases of life and circumstances and the different things that we encounter throughout this journey. And V'rabim on Chanukah, that experience of the many, is traced back to the Ma'at. Is traced back to just that one little primordial jug, just that source from where everything else splits off from. Isn't that what Emunah is? Isn't that what it means to have Emunah? Not just to have Emunah like it's another thing that you own. Like you have a house and you have a car and you have Emunah. You know, it's just like another thing. But to really have Emunah, to live with Emunah in such a way that it changes the way that we operate, that we look at all of life through different lenses, we react differently to situations, we respond differently, we think differently. What it means is to see everything through the lens of oneness. To find the one single creator in all of his creation so that everything is categorized in one category. We're all emanations of the divine. Everything that we experience, just another emanation of godliness, another miracle, another miracle, another miracle, another revelation, another way of contacting HaKadosh Baruch Hu here and going through this challenge. This is another way of getting close to Hashem. And eating this food, another way, you make a bracha, getting close to Hashem. So maybe this is what Habakkuk means. And what the Gemara means when it tells us that all the different tzaddikim were trying to distill Judaism, Yiddishkeit, down into simpler and simpler and simpler terms, until the Gemara tells us at the very end, Ba Habakkuk, came Habakkuk Hanavi vehemidan al achas. And he got it down to just one point, to one singular kernel. That tzaddik be'emunasa yichya. The righteous person, what it means to be righteous, lives by his faith. And maybe it's not just stam, it's not for nothing, that Habakkuk presented this with vehemidan al achas. It's not just that it happens to be a singular principle, and this is the principle. The principle is achas. But Habakkuk, came along Habakkuk vehemidan, and he said, you know what sits at the core of all of Yiddishkeit, what the point of all of it is? Literally the point. But Habakkuk vehemidan al achas. He said that already is the point. That already is the principle. It's all oneness. Just to encounter that presence beyond every mask. V'tzadik be'emunasa yichya. It means to live with faith, to really live with it, not just to have it, but to live with emunah. We sing before Lahagad Ba'boiker Chazdecha in the morning when everything's going well. When we can see Hashem because it's clear that His energy is guiding things, that things are going in the way that we perceive them to need to go, that the way that they should go, then it's easy. We sing God's praise in the morning. But when is it time for faith in God? Baleilos. Specifically in the darkness, specifically in the nighttime. When it's not clear, that is when it's time to turn on that energy of emunah. Turn it up. To turn it up. You know what Yavan is? What Greece is? Chazal say choshech zu Yavan. Yavan is darkness. They represent the greatest obstacle to faith. The way that we combat that darkness of Yavan is not by battling the darkness, but by looking past the facade and seeing it as another form of light. The emunascha baleilos means that there is no nighttime. It means there is only day and almost day. There is no night. It's not a category that's real, just masking what's beyond, the dawn to come, the dawn that's already in process of rising. So this is where we are now. I don't think there's been a time in our lifetime, all of us, no matter what stage you are or age you are in this room, what we're going through now is not simple. Choshech kafel u'mekupal, a deep, deep, doubled over, tripled over darkness. And so everybody's asking, well, how do you have emunah at a time like this? And the answer, the response is not, how do you have emunah at a time like this? Is there ever a better time to turn that up? To press down on the gas pedal of faith? To put emunah into action? To not be shaken? Gonna come up to Purim soon, like Mordechai Hatzadik, lo yichrav lo yishtachav, not to bow, not to bend, not to shake, not to tremble for a second. We're the eternal nation. This is our bread and butter. This is where we thrive. Look at us. We're shining. We're shining. Now it's time to have emunah in a way that we've never had emunah before. to face the choshech zuyavan, and to respond with this deep emunah that although it looks like midnight, dawn is already rising. Okay, join me if you can. Let's sing it with all of our heart and soul. Let's really declare it, because emunah is a choice. Emunah is a choice. It's a pair of glasses I choose to put on. Let's put it on now. Hashem is real. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is running the show. He's everything. He's got this. So let's sing it till they hear us over there in the tunnels. Ani ma'amin, ani ma'amin, ani ma'amin. V'vig emunah sheleinu, v'vig V'vigas HaMoshiach HaMamin V'vigas HaMoshiach V'vigas HaMoshiach Ani Mahamin Ani Mahamin, Ani Mahamin, Ani Mahamin. Big emunah shelayma, we Mashiach ani mamin, ani mamin, ani mamin, ani mamin. We began emunah shilayma. Ani mamin, v'yafalti sheyismameya im kol zeh ani mamin, v'yafalti sheyismameya im kol zeh ani mamin. One more time. Ani mamin, ani mamin. Big emunah shelayma, v'vivyas Via sameach ani mamen Ve'as Hamashiach Ve'as Hamashiach ani mamen for your heart and soul. Oh, yeah, Mashiach ani mamen Oyane mamen Oyevegemun Hashelayma Ve'as Hamashiach ani mamen V'yapa she'yismameh im kol zeh ani mamen V'yapa she'yismameh im kol zeh ani mamen. I want to teach a niggin and then we'll learn a little bit more. The chaver from the Thursday night chabura know this already. I taught it just this past Thursday night. It's one of my favorite nigunim. It's one of the most beautiful melodies I ever heard in my life, without exaggeration. But I'll let you be the judge of it for yourself. And it goes like this, a little bit complicated, so listen the first 2 times, and then join me if you can. Galena Nigabita Nigigifloye Nitoirase Beautiful Galena Nigabita Nigigifloye Nitoirase Join me strong. Let's do it one more time. This time join me even louder. Let's just say what the words means before we sing it again. Gal Einai V'Abita. David HaMelech is davening that the Master of the world should open our eyes. Gal Einai. Reveal to me. Reveal to my eyes. Open my eyes, V'Abita, and let me see Nifla'os Mitorah. Let me see the wonders of the Torah. Let me feel it. Let me see the wonder in everything, because everything is Torah. Everything's a teaching. Every minute of life is a curriculum. There's always something to learn. And it's a wondrous to live with Emunah, to live in such a way where it's nothing that happens stam. Every minute is HaKadosh Baruch Hu teaching me something. Let me see the wonder of life. Let me bask in that light, in the presence of the divine. Sing it one more time. Galeina v'gabita nigiftoai mitoirasecha Galeina v'gabita nigiftoai mitoirasecha So let's learn a little bit more together with Siyata D'Shmaya. We sing after we light the Chanukah candles. What a privilege to be a part of that, to be able to light these candles that our grandparents lit and their grandparents before them in the most unimaginable circumstances. We're a part of that. We're a part of that chain. We are the Jews of today. Think about the heroes in all previous generations. That's me and you. Simple as we think we are. That's us. That's all we've got. We are all Hashem has in His world, and He trusts us to fix it. So after we kindle these lights, we sing Haneres Halalu Kodesh Hem. These candles are holy. We have no permission to use them. Ella l'ro'isam bilvad. We only have permission to look at them. Very deep. We don't have permission to use the Chanukah candles, but we do have permission. Permission is granted. L'ro'isam. To see them. What's the secret of the connection between the light of the Chanukah candles and seeing and sight? Gal Eineinu. What's the connection? So very deeply, the deeper Svarim explain that the human capacity for thought is divided into a number of different aspects. Many of us are familiar, especially if you happen to have a Nusach Svard. So in Ata Chaynin La'adam Das, we say V'chaneinu mi'itcha chachma, bina, v'das. Grant me three different kinds of thinking, power, ability to use our cognitive capacities, right? Chachma and bina and das. How do we translate them? Chachma is intellect. Bina is more intuitive wisdom or understanding. And das is like knowledge, practical. But the Svarim explain that what these things mean and what the difference between them is. What is Chachma and how is it different from Bina? What is Bina and how is it different from Das? Let's just focus now on Chachma and Bina. Is that Chachma is big picture thinking. Chachma means to step back and to see the whole entire picture. While Bina is to get down into the details of it. Bina, Chazal tell us, is maven davar mitoich davar. To be able to understand distinctions. This is not that, and that is not this. And to be able to extrapolate further details from pre-existing information. Chachma doesn't get into any of that. Chachma takes a billion steps back and just looks at the whole thing. Just on Google Earth, if you should happen to ever use Google Earth, which is just a total wonder, just zoom all the way out and just look at this tiny little marble floating in space. Chachma. And then if we had the capacity just to zoom out on the whole physical creation, all the galaxies and everything else that there is, and to just look at that. All of creation. Chachma, big picture. So the tzaddikim explain that these different ways of thinking are connected to capacities that we have in terms of the way that we perceive the world, our senses. And the Svarim explain that Bina is connected to hearing. Very simply, because based on what we said that Bina is one detail at a time. You can only hear one thing at a time. Two people are speaking into both of your ears, you're not able to understand either of them. It's just a jumble. Bina, hearing, is one detail after another detail. Two shofars are blowing, as a shita at least in the Gemara. You're not yotze, because trei koli, generally speaking, happens not to be by shofar. Trei koli loy mishtamoy. You can't hear two things at once. Harmony is different, but that's a separate story. But when people speak, you can't hear two things at once, really to hear both of them. So if Bina is hearing, what's Chachma going to be? Chachma is seeing. And there's even a Mishnah about it. But we don't usually think that the Mishnah is about this. We think it's about what the Mishnah says. But the words of Chazal are so deep that if we start to really focus on them, but we turn them over, we see there's infinite meaning. So the Mishnah tells us, Ezehu Chacham, who is a wise person, Haroeh es hanolad, who sees what will develop. But what Chazal are really telling us is that there's a deep connection between Chachma, big picture wisdom, and Haroeh, seeing es hanolad, which literally means what will come to pass, meaning to see the whole picture, not just to look at moment after moment after moment, which is Bina, consciousness, Chachma, whole thing, the whole thing at once. In the Zohar Kadosh and Kabbalah, oil is the physical manifestation of that energy of a Chachma. Oil. Oil is an incredibly, incredibly lofty thing. It's not even representing Chachma, that's a word that we use. It's not that. There's a difference between something that represents something else and something that is the manifestation of something else. It doesn't represent Chachma. It is the physical manifestation of that light of Chachma. And that's why oil physically has this strange quality where it always rises to the top of any other liquid that's less dense. Oil always rises to the top, which hints to the fact that oil is channeling this energy of Chachma before getting down into the details of things, before the world starts to become physical, stage after stage after stage. And the multiplicity of creations are created when it's all just wrapped up into one ray of godliness, just one kernel of infinite spirituality. That's the oil that rises all the way to the top. That's Chachma, is always connected to oil. The pasuk tells us about oil in the context of the oil that was used to anoint the Kohanim. The kalim of the Beis Hamikdash, of the Mishkan, needed to be anointed with what's referred to in the pasuk as shemen mishchas kodesh. Holy oil, kodesh. What does kodesh mean? What does it mean that something's holy? Holy means transcendent. Holy means elevated. Holy means removed. Holy means removed from whose standpoint? From the standpoint of living in this physical world. To get out of the perception of my own self and to move into higher and higher and higher levels of awareness where I'm able, like the oil, to rise above, to contact that all-encompassing energy, that Kedusha, where all of creation hasn't yet taken a form where it sees itself as being separate from the divine. Everything is still wrapped up in the big picture vision, in the master plan, in that Chachma-oriented energy of just pure godliness that's all the way at the top, at the early outset of creation beginning to unfold. The first step, everything wrapped up in one energy. To become kadosh means to do everything that we can to align ourselves with that energy. That's why Chachma has the letters koach, ma. Chachma is the energy of recognizing koach, my power, my energy, ma, it's nothingness. What is it? All there is Elokus. Reishis Chachma. Chachma is the earliest outset, the highest madrega. Reishis Chachma is Yiras Hashem. What does Yiras Hashem mean? Not just fear of God, but to live with awe, which means to live with awareness of Hashem's presence all the time, wherever we go, whatever we're doing, whatever time it is in our lives, whatever we're going through. That's what Yiras Shamayim is, not fear of God, awareness of Hashem. Reishis Chachma Yiras Hashem, Shemen is Mishchas Kodesh. It's the energy of Kodesh, of holiness. But there's two kinds of Chachma. One kind of Chachma is the Chachma of the Torah, is the Chachma of Am Yisrael, which leads us further and further, the more of it we grasp, into a more and more Kadosh space. The more we know, the more we realize how little we know. The higher we're getting, the taller we're climbing this ladder, up and up and up and up, out of the lower levels of existence, to be able to contact that energy of Chachma, that all-encompassing energy of oil, that Shemen, that presence of Chachma that's within everything. That's the Chachma of Am Yisrael, which is represented in this bitui, this expression in the Sfarim HaKadoshim, tachlis hayediyah, that the pinnacle of knowing is shalom neda, is to realize that I actually don't know anything. That's the greatest chachma of all. That's what it means to really be wise. At the pinnacle of all of wisdom is to realize, wow, I can't know. I am not supposed to know. All I can really know is that Hashem knows, and that's enough for me. I don't need to know it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's got this. Like we said earlier, Hashem knows it. Hashem is running the show. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's pulling the strings. Do you know how the Greeks phrased their philosophical wisdom? They put it into one motto. And one of the great Greek philosophers wrote, whatever there is to know, whatever can be known, that we shall know someday. Someday we'll know all there is to be known. It's just a matter of time, but the human brain will get there. And as time carries on, we're going to learn more and more and more about the things that they thought were important. The physical world, learning how to understand this space, learning how to develop physicality. Whatever there is to know, we're going to know that. You know what Am Yisrael say? Mamish the opposite. Shem and Mishchas Kodesh. The Chachma of Am Yisrael is Koach Ma. Is to be able to access a deeper realm where we understand that only HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows. Tachlis Hayediyah, we say whatever there is to know, surely it will help us to further recognize how little we actually know about everything. And that's the Chachma of Am Yisrael. That's the real wisdom. That's what it means to be a Yid. It's to be just this humble Jew who doesn't try to understand every single tiny thing, but just to let HaKadosh Baruch Hu run his world. Shemen Mishchas Kodesh. That Shemen, that Chachma. So Chachma on the one hand has this teva, this nature, this quality where it rises above, but it also has a strange, counterintuitive, like contrasting quality where you could never get it out of any vessel that it filled. Even though it rises to the top, but oil that sits in a vessel, it's like all the way on the bottom of the vessel, the residue of oil is there. It's very, very difficult to get it out. It remains. You can pour oil from one cup to the other, and it's like there's a part of it that never left. And so very deeply, like we sing in L'chadodi, sof masa b'machshava tchila, that whatever it was that was initially in the earliest stages of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mind, so to speak, when he began to think about creation, at that earliest ray of the dawn of existence, when all there is Hashem, and everything is unified with Hashem's Chachma that is within everything, we can find that oil that rises to the top, the Shemen Mishchas Kodesh. We could find the Dafka Sof Masa embedded within this worldliness. We can discover it there. Like we say in davening in the morning, Kulam, everything that there is, B'chachma Asisa. The oil of that transcendent unity, of Hashem's wisdom, of Hashem's presence, is embedded within everything there is. That Shemen Mishchas Kodesh is Kulam B'chachma Asisa. That Chachma can be found everywhere we look. But the thing is, we have to be looking with the right eyes. We have to be looking with the eyes that are open to seeing this. Because that's it. You can choose what you want to see in the world. Is it a world of nature that we approach with the interest of finding out how to harness these forces for our benefit, for our physical, this worldly, this lifetime benefit? Or do we look around at everything that exists in life and we say, wow, here's another encounter with this chachma, this overwhelming presence of Hashem that we respond to with wonder, with awe, with being just blown away by it. Haneris halalu. These candles, these flames that dance on the Shemen Zayis Zach of Chanukah that we're going to be privileged to light very soon. Kodesh Haim. They are an apparent manifestation of that latent Kedusha, that Ar Haganuz, that hidden light that could be found within everything, which shone, as the Svarim say, for 36 hours, which are reflected in the 36 candles of Chanukah, because 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, all of the candles of Chanukah, all the 8 nights, are 36 in total, reflecting the Ar Haganuz, that hidden light. Haneres halalu, these candles, kodesh haim. They reflect that realm of the holy. And therefore, ve'ein lanu reshus lehishtamesh behem. They teach us that not everything in this world is meant to be used. Not everything in this world that we encounter, that we experience, is here to be manipulated and harnessed and to figure out some way of utilizing it, to see how it has utility. That's not what it is. Elulur oisem bilvad. It's just there to give me another opportunity to catch a glimpse of Hashem's presence, which is not hidden by the world, but which is hidden in the world, waiting for us to see it. Gal einai va'abita. And so, of course, if the physical way of approaching the world, the Greek way of approaching the world, the Yavan way of approaching the world, which is choshech, which is darkness, which is the opposite of the Ar Haganuz, which is the concept of everything that's only revealed because only what we can see and what we can sense and what we can feel and what we can smell and taste and hear is that which is real, that can be studied and observed. And therefore the Yavan, everybody knows, Yud, Vav, Nun, it goes down and down and down, always pointing to this worldliness. If Yavan is all about the guf, about gashmias, about physicality, without sensing anything that's beyond that, the calm, small, soft glow of the Jewish chachma, of humility, of koachma, and it's all about grandiosity and magnificence, so then the tikkun for it, of course, the rectification of it, is neshama. It's the soul, is the soul. And that's what the candle is, that holds these flames of the Chanukah menorah, is ner Elokim nishmas adam, is reflective of the soul of man. The soul of the human being, which is that part of us that can become awake to the soul of existence, to encounter the Kedusha in everything, the Chachma in everything. Ner Elokim Nishmas Adam. And the way to fortify our neshama is by getting in touch with the neshama of the Torah. So the Torah also has a guf, a body, and a neshama. There's, hard to say it, but there's a Greek way of being a Yid, a Jew, and there's mamish, a Jewish way of being a Jew. There's a quantifiable Greek-oriented way of just considering those things in Judaism that are worthy, those things that can be measured, those things that can be seen, observed, how many pages of how many texts you happen to learn, and how much you're shuckling with Yudavan, and how many tefillas, and so on and so, just everything that's measured. And then there's the quality of it. There's the Shem and Mishchas Kodesh. There's the residual element of a whisper of something that we can't put into words. There's emunah. There's sincerity. There's yearning, striving. There's our emotions, loving, fearing, being really present in our avodas Hashem, not just going through the motions physically, but to really do it for real. That being Jewish is not just another facet of my identity. It's everything. It's everything. It's not what I do, it's who I am. There's a neshama of Torah. And the neshama of Torah is captured in the tradition of Kabbalah, of Sod. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, the Ari HaKadosh, the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Nachman Zchusi Eineinu, greater and greater progressive revelations of the soul of Yiddishkeit. Parenthetically, Nachal Novea Makar Chachma, that pasuk that we said in the beginning, that is the Makar for this Chachma. Yearning is Rashi Tevos, as some of you may know, is Nachman. Nachal Novea Makar Chachma. That's the energy of Rabbi Nachman. He himself said that. He said that he is rooted in that pasuk, very deep. So Rabbi Nachman taught us all of this ultimately, but it's all based on the teachings of the Baal Shem, which are based on the teachings of the Ari, which are based on the teachings of Reb Shimon. Throughout history, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has been slowly but surely taking off layer after layer after layer, revealing greater and greater and greater measures of light until us today, you and me sitting in this room, 2023, in the deepest pit of darkness, the greatest light of the neshama of Torah is able to reach us. And so we go back to the pasuk that we said, Gal Einai. Ribbon Shalom, let me open my eyes to really see, to really be able to connect to the Kodesh Haim, the Shemen Mishchas Kodesh, the Chachma, Koach Ma, of these humble little, tiny little flames of Chanukah that stand up against the great, mighty, flashing lights of the Greek world of materialism. Koach Ma, Gal Einai. Well, how do I get to Gal Einai? How can I develop this capacity to live life with really open eyes? The pasuk says, "Va'abita nifla'os mitayrasecha." You got to connect to not just the how of Yiddishkeit, the wow of Yiddishkeit. Nifla'os, the wonders of serving God. It's all there. It's in the books, and it's here for us in this generation to access in a way that our grandparents didn't. It's a different world today. It's not the same Yiddishkeit of even 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. It's Erev Shabbos in the Zohar Kodesh. We're getting close to the end. Everything speeds up. Yiddishkeit changes. Can't be teaching the way that we taught 100 years ago. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us a gift. Chasidus is a gift. Not streimels and bekishes. The study of the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, his way of seeing the Torah, it's a gift. It's a new way of approaching Emunah, a new way of approaching education, a new way of approaching what it is to be a Jew, a new way of what it is to approach all of Yiddishkeit. So that it's not simply, and with this we come to a close and we'll sing and then we'll finish. It's not simply V'sein b'libeinu bina, that we should have the bina consciousness of lahavin ulahaskil, to understand and to think and to contemplate, l'shmaya lilmaidu l'lamei, to make sure that we're learning all the gemaras and all the sugyas and halacha, and making sure that we know how to be an Orthodox Jew, and we know how to dress and how to make sure that our kids have all the right matching outfits, particularly so we fit in exactly, and making sure that the simchas are the way that they're supposed to look for a frum Jew in 2020, and so on and so forth. The culture of it, it's not simply lilmaidu l'lamei lishmar v'las, it's just to do everything right. But we continue, Ribbon Shalom, Master of heaven and earth, and this is the prayer for our generation, for me and you. It's not enough for me. The surface of Yiddishkeit, the body of being a Jew. But Tata Zisa, Master of heaven and earth, V'ha'er Eineinu b'sarasecha. Illuminate my eyes, Gal Einai. Haneris halal kodesh hem elal ra'oisam belvad v'hari neinu b'sarasecha v'ha'er eineinu b'sarasecha v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvaysecha. Let me feel it with all my heart. That it's not just something we do, but it's a relationship. I show up with all of me, Rahman Aliba boy. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want what you do. Hashem wants just you. And the way that you bring yourself to Him is by doing the things that He wants, but it's you He wants. My heart becomes bound to the Bach Habakuk ve'hamidon al achas Tzadik be'emunasa yichya v'yachad avavenu la'avo liyira shemecha. Not just enough to learn words on pages, but to really feel it. That's what the Baal Shem Tov wanted to bring back to Yiddishkeit, and what Rabbi Nachman deepened, all built on this tradition of Pnimius HaTorah, Chachmas HaSod, that's no longer hidden. It's revealed for you and me today, even if you're younger than 40. Makes no difference. Especially Chasidus, that's Kabbalah itself. Especially anything that you find in Chasidus, not just mutter, it's permitted to learn. It is absolutely required to be able to breathe. I don't know how people breathe if you're not connected to this way of living. It's oxygen. It's oxygen. So this is our tefillah now as we move into Chanukah. This is what Chanukah offers us, and this is what our tefillah should be. And we do spend a few moments davening. Over the next couple of days, find some time, 3-4 minutes. Even after this whole experience of tonight, there's a lot to think about, a lot to chew over, a lot to contemplate. But to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tein li zot b'matana, give me a gift on Chanukah. That it shouldn't just be another Chag, another Yontif, another Chanukah of this year. I should merit to sit there, look at the candles for long periods of time, just to gaze into those candles like the tzaddikim would. Even without tehillim and without davening, just find some time, sit in front of the candles and do nothing other than look at them, stare at them. Because it's an aspect of a ha'ir Eineinu, gal einai va'abita. It makes a change. Ner Elokim nishmas Adam. I want to live with soulfulness. I want to live for real, to really live with vibrancy, vitality, with joy. Hashem, help me connect. Help me connect with the soul of Yiddishkeit. Help me find you in everything. V'kulam b'chachma asisa. Okay, so let's do one more niggun and then we'll dance. Hey, join me. And here's the opportunity to really daven it. Don't even have to find 2 minutes, a different night. But we could daven it right now. Yavinu avarachamon amirachem rachem aleinu uyivisei b'libeinu vina lehavinu lehaskim Yavinu avarachamon Uyamirachem Rachem aleinu Uyivisein b'libeinu vina Lehavinu lehaskel Mishmaya Elmahid Lilamei Elege Yishma Emelasoi Ulekaya Skaladir Salamu Terasecha V'yava Lishmaya L'l'maydu l'lamei L'gegeshma V'lasoi L'kayai Eskal divrei Salmu Terasecha diava. And here's the most crucial part. Eineinu We complicate things. We complicate things. Everything is very simple. HaKadosh Baruch Hu adores us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants a relationship with us. Hashem gave us a Torah to help us remember His love every step of the journey. That's the whole thing. So the Rambam says, that's the whole thing of Chanukah, is a mitzvah chaviva yad ma'od. It's a precious mitzvah, it's precious. He never says that about any other halacha or any other mitzvah. Mitzvah chaviva hi. It's not even his job to say such things. The Rambam is a halacha sefer. He's not coming to tell us which mitzvah is more precious than the next. But the whole thing is not that it is a precious mitzvah, but that Chanukah and the neiros of Chanukah bring back the chavivus of Yiddishkeit. That I don't do it out of rote, and I don't do it because I feel guilty if I don't do it. I do it because it's an intimate relationship that I have with the divine energy in everything. With the Shemen Mishchas Kodesh, with the Sof Maseh B'machshava Tchila. And ultimately, and with this will end, what you and I just did here now is the ultimate expression of the way in which you and I are doing it right. Because the Baal Shem Tov taught that the hachana for a mitzvah, the preparation for a mitzvah, is even greater than the mitzvah itself on some level. Why? Because to do the mitzvah itself is the mitzvah. Okay, you're commanded to do the mitzvah, so you do the mitzvah. But to take the time to prepare for it, to yearn for it, to build up excitement for it, to learn about the depth of it, to understand what we can access when we do the mitzvah. It's a whole different thing. That means that you're a Jew that's not just doing it by the books, card carrying, box checking, everything is good. You're in it for the deepest relationship. To activate the essence of life, which is one with Yiddishkeit, the essence of who we are as Am Yisrael. What our mission is to reveal this light, Ner Elokim Nishmas Adam, to be soulful people, to reveal the soul of the world. That's what we accomplished here. So I want to thank each and every one of you for coming, for being a part of it. What a privilege that we have. And I want to just announce that twice a week, at least for the men, still working on women's programming, but regular women's programming. But for the men, we have 2 chaburas Sunday night. Many of you are, Baruch Hashem, we're privileged to have you join. Sunday night and Thursday night. And all the information can be found wherever you can contact me, and everybody knows how to do that. So you can inquire about more information. We have twice a week where we're delving into these teachings, or we're delving into Pnimius HaTorah, which is super crucial for our generation, like we said. And on the tables, on either side of the room, we have, Be'ezus Hashem, these special tefillos that should be recited before we do the bracha. And that's for the men who are going to be lighting, and for the women who are also involved in the lighting. That you're also lighting in a certain sense, right? It's just someone's being motzi you, but it's your mitzvah too. So this can be recited by everybody before we light, and it's a tefillah from the Bnei Yissaschar, one of the great Hasidic masters. And on the back, you'll find 8 different points, some of which we already spoke about, but just things to keep in mind as we sit in front of the candles. You can read them, and then spend some time just looking at the lights. It seems simple, there's nothing fancy about it. It's just a tiny little flame. But that tiny little flame is the ma'at min ha'or that's going to push away harbe min ha'choshech. That little flame of emunah, that little flame of chizuk, that little flame of understanding that wherever you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. There's never been anybody like you from the beginning of time until now. There never will be anybody like you from now until the end of time. It's just you. And you're here for a mission. And whatever your circumstances are, that's what Chanukah is, to become reacquainted with that. That Shem and Mishchas Kodesh, that sublime holiness that's there. Hashem's love. So I bless us, Be'ezus Hashem, with the highest, deepest Chanukah. Really a Chanukah of soul. And we should be zocheh to what the Bnei Yissaschar writes over here, and I put it in bold because I think it's particularly prevalent, to b'schus ha-mitzvah hazois, and the merit of this mitzvah, tizakenu l'natseach es oivenu. We should merit to vanquish all of our enemies. U'lenatseach amalechas beis Hashem, so that we can rebuild the Beis HaMikdash and come back to Yerushalayim Habenuya, which is where all of us belong and where all of us are heading. What a privilege. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Thank you for coming, and thank you for being here. So let's dance a little bit. Oh, Yevanim nikbetzu Allah. Oh, Yazai b'mechashmanim. You can move the tables aside. Move the chairs. V'temu kol hashmanim. Oh, Yevanim nikbetzu Allah. Oh, Yazai b'mechashmanim. U'vatzu chaymas migdalai. V'temu kol hashmanim. U'minay sakan kanim. Oy nasen is tashoy shani. Hey, menay v'no yemesh moinam. Kapu sheranim. Let's go. U'minay sakan kanim.